Silence.
The negatives. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the best performance by special teams. Was there anything that you found?
Actually, really, to be honest with you, three phases actually played pretty well. Our punt return played well. Kickoff return, drive start was good, and our punt was actually very good. But obviously, we had those two huge plays. Blocked field goal was just a low kick. I mean, there's people who could have protected maybe a touch better, but at the end of the day, the ball just came off low. If you hit a ball that low, usually it's going to be blocked as long as they put their hand up. Their guy did a good job getting his hand up there. And then the kickoff return, their kick return, our kick cover. It's a group that we had been playing pretty well in that phase, to be honest with you. And then we obviously gave up the play. The biggest challenge with the play for me would be if we give up a play like that, we got to tackle them at like the 40 and not let them run all the way back to our side of the field. So we just got to try to minimize the damage on those plays, and so that we're not giving up so much. But there's probably a lot of guys that could have been a little bit better on that play. No one person on that. And I would also say, starting with myself, I could have helped them out a little bit more. And they did a nice job. They had a good little scheme, and they got us a little bit. So it's good by them too.
What was the main issue with the trajectory of the kick? Was it just a misstep?
Yeah, so anytime you hit a low ball like that, you see it go around the league. I think you guys asked me, what was it with some of these blocks early in the season, and some of them I said it was just low balls. But anyway, it sounds weird, but anyway. All right. The kick was low, and the trajectory came off low. Anytime that happens, what's really going on is the kicker's hitting the ball just a fraction higher up on the ball with his foot, and so it comes off flat and low. It's kind of a similar thing that would happen on like a miss hit on a kickoff that ends up being a squib. He hits a little high on the ball, and it looked like his foot caught the turf a little bit before the ball and probably hit off the ground and ricocheted up a little bit. So he hit high on the ball, which obviously is unfortunate.
In terms of how they schemed up the kick return, is that something you hadn't seen before?
No, I mean, it's nothing like super dynamic. They did a good job of executing. I mean, it comes down to fractions. It's inches. Like, that's why every week I stand up here, I'm like, gosh, or a couple of weeks ago I told you, those plays, before every one of those kicks, you're nervous about the outcome just because it can go one way or the other. The second one that was called back on a penalty, we had hands on the guy back there, at the 25-yard line, and the guy slid off the tackle, and then it turns into a huge play. And then the first one we had a guy have his hands on the guy at the 40-yard line, and he got off that tackle and made a big play. But ultimately, it's my responsibility. I got to do a better job of getting these guys in a better position so that they can get better contact on the ball and bring them down. But yeah, I mean, like going into the game, I think we were, the way I calculated out, sixth best in drive start in the National Football League on kickoff, just in terms of those guys covering. So not adding in like, well, the ball went out of bounds or the ball landed inside the landing zone and went for a touchback and they got the ball at the 20. Not counting that stuff, just grading the coverage units across the league. We were probably 6 going into the game, and coming out of it we're 12. So it's not like, oh man, you guys are been terrible. There's 22 or 20 teams that would like to be in our shoes right now. So anyway, I think you got to take it with some perspective. Now, that being said, we obviously got to get better. We can't let that happen again. We got to be urgent about it. But just like you do on anything all season.
How are you doing on the rest of your rankings?
I would say fairly decent. Yeah. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I look at a lot of different things. I mean, it just depends on stuff like that. I'll give you another example. Kickoff coverage, I think we have 4th or 5th most drive starts with our opponent inside the 20-yard line. In the NFL, I think our kickoff return, we're like 4th in terms of fewest number of drive starts inside our own 20-yard line. I think we're roughly like 10th best when we're returning the ball on our kickoff return. So stuff like that. But yeah, we're doing all right. Could we be better? For sure. we have a high standard, a high bar. We played really well around here for a long time, and we got to continue to improve. Just like I said at the beginning of the year, just keep getting better and better.
Talked about it.
Just more of a broad question, but just a question about Dan Campbell. You've been here, obviously, from the beginning of him in 2021. Was there a story or a moment that you can think of that kind of, like, when you saw the change was going to happen, you saw this guy was who he's become right now? Can you, like, share a story or a moment that kind of just showed you when you first learned that Dan would kind of be this
Yeah, I don't know if I have a moment like that, but I would just say from the very beginning, I mean, you talk about a guy who believes in what he's doing and how he's doing it, and he's always been convicted and committed, and you've always felt like he's had a plan, and he believes in the plan that he has, and all of us certainly have believed in him for sure. And I would say he's never wavered. He's always stayed the course. I think a lot of times in this business, especially in that position, I mean, you get hit from a lot of different angles and areas and different directions, and he's never wavered, not one bit. I mean, a lot of it comes from the outside world, the media, people outside the building talking about it, and he's always been true to himself. He's been who he is, and I think he's done a terrific job of that, which is very difficult to do, especially when you're not having success. I think in this league, anybody can coach any position when you're playing great. It's when you're not playing great or you're going through those ups and downs that you really find out who can really coach in this league. And he obviously did that at the beginning of our time here. He stayed the course. He stayed true to the players. Players believed in him. He was honest with them, told them the truth. So, I mean, I've always said I can never speak highly enough. His intelligence on what's going on in the locker room and how the players are feeling and what they're going through and how they're handling it and what he needs to say to them at the right times is incredible. His vision for what's going to play out in the course of a game is exceptional. He knows going into every game. I think he's already built a vision of how that game's going to go down, what's going to take to win, if he needs to be more aggressive, less aggressive, and he's always stayed the course with that, and he's really always pretty much right on. So, yeah, he's incredible. I love working for him, been fortunate to be around him, but, yeah, I don't know if that helps you out.
Dave, I wanted to ask you about Jet. He's been here as long as you have. You kind of brought him in 2021, and he didn't have a lot of experience. Didn't sound like the interview process was too in depth. How do you go about identifying what you're looking for, and how have you seen him grow in these 5 years? Because he's getting opportunities now to be in the coordinator seat. Jet. I mean, what we're looking for is a guy who's obviously really hungry about coaching football. My assistant needs to have a lot of computer skills. I end up putting a lot of stuff into a computer. So, I mean, probably what he does most for me, to be honest, is like just putting together PowerPoints. Like the format's there, but every week you got to put in all the new pictures, all the new drawings, where the other team's kicking the ball and the kick charts, and just a lot of data information that we end up presenting to the players or using to build a plan. And so he does a ton of that stuff. So obviously being able to handle the computer stuff was a big part of it. We wanted somebody who was young and hungry to grow and learn, and who was all in, committed, I think, as an assistant. I think anytime you're an assistant, I think the best thing you can do is really just put yourself in the coordinator's shoes and say, what does this guy need me to do? I think what happened to me is when I coached college football for 10 years. I was defensive coordinator for 8 of them, and then I left that and I went to the NFL. And when I got in the NFL, I became an assistant again to the special teams coordinator. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I had been a coordinator, and it was like, man, I know exactly what this guy wants. He doesn't need a ton of help with ideas. He doesn't need this. He just needs me to bust my ass with all these things, help him out with that and get that done. So that's really kind of, to me, what we're looking for, what I'm looking for. And then you want, high motor, energetic, whatever, a bright future ahead of him. Good person, honest, direct. You want a guy who can handle the players and not acquiesce to those guys, but be able to tell them what they need to do and be able to project my word and message or our word and message. And he's done a great job since he's been here.
Malcolm's been practicing lately. Just how excited are you to get that player back to your unit?
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, obviously, guys have been coming and going all season long, but him, just like getting Baki back's huge. These guys are great players for us on special teams.
With Baki, you had him back there to return kicks. Obviously, they kicked it away from him. Is there something that you can do to maybe try to get a guy back there?
Yeah, so I think actually it's a good question, just because going into Washington this week, a year ago when we played in the playoffs, we had Craig and we had Khalif back there deep. And, yeah, we were trying to move them around, but ultimately the team that's kicking the ball really controls the play. And you could you could line up with one guy back there and have him cover the field. If the kicker can hit the ball on the ground, then maybe that's hard to do. Or a low-line shot in a corner or something like that. Maybe that would be hard to do, put one guy back there. So some of that depends on who's kicking the ball off, which these guys kick the ball low. Sometimes it would be hard to put one returner back there. You can try to guess which side he's kicking to, but ultimately, if that guy can move the ball around, they can control kind of who's going to get the ball on the return.
Are there tells in their coverage formation? They move a player around.
All sorts of tells. It could be a tell by formation, by alignment, the width of the kick, the stance, what foot's forward, the angle of the player, the kicker's setup, the kicker's approach. You can tell on, but ultimately sometimes you can't. And they can throw that off and they can break those tendencies and all that. So, yeah.
All right, so we get started. Just recapping the Minnesota game real quick. Obviously a tough loss, a loss that shouldn't happen, couldn't and can't happen. In my opinion, we're not in a situation to be giving away games that we firmly believe that we should win. And that's just honest transparency. But you look at it from a defensive perspective in that game. If you would have told me, we went into the game saying we weren't going to let 18 beat us. And if you would have told me he wouldn't even have 50 yards, Addison would have 40-something yards, quarterback passer rating would be around 80, I would say, we played a dominant outfit. You know what I mean, in that game. And that's why you can't always look at the stat sheet. You got to watch the tape. The run game, that's kind of a facade. It's not real, those numbers that showed up, because I was trying to search for where were those yards. And then I found out they added a 31-yard screen in as a run play. You take that out there at 3.9 on the day, and then there's 24 to 34 yards in there. That's just inexcusable. You got guys at the point of attack to stop the ball. If not a TFL for a 2-yard gain, those plays have to be made, and those guys understand that, took full accountability to it. So then you say, then what happened? Why were there 27 points in an area that we've been thriving in this year? Sudden change, we didn't thrive in and have our best outing. And that's very unfortunate because we could have. They got drive starts at the plus 36, plus 35 that equaled in 14 points. That cannot happen on one of those, especially the 3rd and 9 critical situation. Especially when we can get to the point in the game, 3rd, 4th quarter, it looked like the team needed us to stand up and take control of that game as a defense. We put that on our shoulders, and we need to stand up and make those plays. 3rd and 9 had one of our better players at the point of attack. He has to make that play. And more importantly, the D-line can't let him out to his right. Going to the game with certain details that the guys understand, you got to go out and execute it. And like I said, all this stuff's been discussed, it's been addressed, and moving forward, we just got to make those plays in the critical moment. And in the end of the play, I wouldn't have it no other way. And I wouldn't have no other guy, no other, you say put this guy, no, I'm putting Arthur Millette on the guy. He was in phase, he was in the basket, and the guy made a play. Made a great play, credit to them. We'll see them again on Christmas. All right, let's go.
Why do you trust Arthur so much?
Because what he's shown since he's been here, I go off what my eyes see, not narratives, not what round, not where you from, not what you look like. I go off when I hit play, what does that show me? And it shows a guy that been in here since day one, since we've had that player, Arthur Millette, put his head down and done everything asked, and he's learned this playbook. He's absolutely learned this playbook. One of the best disguises I've seen all year was on the free run when Jack got through. Should have been 2nd and 9 or something like that, and Jack got a 15-yard penalty, which we worked so we could be in compliance with the NFL, rolling off to the side of the quarterback when we sack him. So just things like that. He stood up when asked. I mean, he made a tremendous play in the Tampa game. Everybody was talking about him like he was Deion Sanders. They give up a pass. I'm saying, why you not? No, if the game's on line again, it's going to be Arthur Millette and press man, and he's going to find a way to get the ball out of the basket.
Ask you about another cornerback, Terrion. He made a couple big plays that game. Obviously, he had the pick. He said that's something that you guys have talked to him about, playing that all the way to the ground. He had the pass breakup on the goal line. Maybe took some steps forward in that regard. Also, keeps coming out of games for little things. I don't know if you see growth, how frustrating that second part is.
I absolutely see growth with the player in Terrion. Absolutely. In pass coverage, has been outstanding. He's cleaned up some of the stuff at the top of the route. And Deshay's done an excellent job developing that player. But the part of TA's game I need to see improve is the run game and run support. It's unacceptable right now, and he knows that. And I learned this from Aaron Glenn, one of my mentors. The identity of your defense shows up when your corners are at the point of attack in the run game. If you really want to preach you're a tough defense, you're a physical outfit, show me your corners when they're called upon in run support. And we've been good in that area. And if you want to be on the field, you have to be good in that area. We don't believe in cover guys. Now, obviously, that's a part of your job as a defensive back, but we don't believe in that here. Our identity as a defense is tough, physical, violent mentality, and that has to show up in all aspects of the game.
Is that an effort issue or a technique issue for Terrion in the run game?
To me, it's a technique issue because he's there at the point of attack. I know Terrion wants to do it. It's not a wheel or anything like that. It's just understanding you got to run your feet in this league. You have to bring your feet. That's everybody. The same thing. One of our best players at the point of attack on 39, Alex. You cannot leave your feet. You can't lunge. You have to bring your feet. The players in this league are too good nowadays to break down the shuffle and all that. If we're going to go out, we're going to go out swinging, shooting our gun at the point of attack.
Biggest difference between Jaden and Marcus and how they played with those two quarterbacks in the game?
Absolutely no difference at all. That offense is that offense, and they have full trust in Marcus Mariota. If anything, he's bigger and a little more physical. Now, Jaden, I'm not saying you're not physical. Because he'd be like, dang, big bro, it's like that. Like, I'm not saying that. But, like, Mariota's 220, 230. He's a physical player, and he's not looking to slide a lot. Like, he's looking to convert, get first downs. And you see the team. I just watched 3 full games of them. And you see the team rally around him. You watch that Las Vegas game. Just go turn it on and just be a common fan watching that Vegas game. You're like, wow. Like up tempo, right at your face, not hiding nothing about it. You see him at end of half in those games. They trust this player. There's not a conservative approach to it. They're down the field striking just like if 5 was back there. So we're looking at it all the same. And we know it's a great chance for us to bounce back off of what they did to us in the NFC division game last year.
Shep, in training camp, I asked you about the blitz. It was looking really good in camp, and I was just, we were asking about why, what we were doing differently. It's carried over to the season. Jack's got 4 sacks, Derek's got 4 sacks, Alex got 1.5. Like, what is working for you with that group in the second level and being able to get home this season?
It's the players understanding the whys behind why we're asking them to align a certain way, why we're asking them to disguise certain things, why we're asking them to use certain rush techniques this year. Because at first you go into this thing, you got to get belief in the players. Schematically and all this, I've talked to you guys about this. You could be a guru all you want if you don't got full belief in your players, because they have to have belief to really go out and take the real effort to do the little minute details. And that's what's uptick this year, just the details within everything. It may be one jab step here, one step here, to sell this here, to open it up for the next man. And these guys have been all in. It's a selfless approach. That's why you see the stats scattered how they are. Obviously, Hutch is the leader of all this deal with the attention he garners on these second and longs, third and longs. But it's all the other guys, and Hutch will tell you that, man. And then you combine that with the effort that these guys play with. A lot of this stuff is second effort. Guy breaking contain. Here comes the guy wrapping around to go get him on the ground. So I credit the players, man. It's detailed, it's structured. I credit Casey Rogers for a lot of this stuff. He's opened my eyes to different ways, creative styles of how to change things up, but it's all the same to the players because he knows that's my beliefs, philosophy, and philosophy-wise as a defense. So just outstanding job by the staff, outstanding job by the players, but we got to push forward and continue to get better.
I asked Fipp this question before too, but as you know, you've been one of the guys who've been on the staff since 2021. When Dan Campbell first got here, man, at what point was it a moment or story that you can think of that just kind of let you know that things would be going in a different direction, even though it wasn't successful right away? Can you point to a moment with Dan Campbell where you realized, like, man, this guy's for real and it might really turn around to what we are right now?
Well, I probably have a more unique outlook on that than anybody in this building outside of Dave Correa probably, because I saw it in 2015 when I was a player. And that's when it really hits you. So I know what those guys in that locker room are feeling because I felt it. Listen, I love Joe Philbin. But in the Miami Dolphins facility, all the lights were off. We didn't pay the electric bill all year. And then when Dan took over, he paid the whole 6 months that were unpaid. Because guys had a fire. You went to practice with a purpose. You know, and like I'll say it, I was one of those guys. Shame on us as a players to let the environment or the situation dictate how we put forth to our profession. But it just shows you the quality of a head coach. It's not a guru, which Dan is. It's not this. It's a leader of men and guys that believe in what you're saying and follow you. And that's the coaching staff as well. I wouldn't be who I was if I didn't get mentored and I didn't watch Dan Campbell every day for the last 5 years of my coaching career. But it was when I was a player, man. I knew. I believed. I believe every game we're going to win because of the way we prepared during the week. So that's why I remember in 2021 starting off, you know, you get some guys carried over from the last regime, all that stuff, and you hear the whispers, like especially me because they're a little more comfortable talking to me. And I'm like, just believe in it, guys. Trust me. It's the same thing. The first day he took over in 2015, he told me and Mike Pouncey, go line up. He put a circle around us. That's illegal to do now, I guess, in the league, and go. I'm like, what you mean, go? Go. And it was mano y mano. And it set the standard for how we played the rest of that year. And it's just carried over here to him getting the ultimate chance at it. And you see kind of the fruits of the labor of Dan Campbell.
Heard that story before about that moment in Miami, with you and Pouncey, but I don't know if we've ever heard it from your standpoint. Can you what was that like, that moment? And
Pouncey's my brother. Like, to this day, I talk to Pouncey for sure every other week. He coaches youth football down in South Florida, doing a tremendous job with that team down there. But it was mano y mano, and Pouncey's cut from the same cloth. So it wasn't any brother-in-law into it. It wasn't nothing. It was like we were opponents facing each other, and we knew why he put us two up there, because everybody looked to us in that locker room. So if those guys see us do it on a Wednesday when in the league back then, is, hey, man, chill, like that. No, go. Then the next guy has no choice. It's no different than here when St. Brown and Panay, when Hutch is up there, out there every day, no days off. Well, why are you taking a day off? Because you don't play more than them. You don't contribute more than them. So it's just Dan's ability to understand who within a coaching staff, who within a locker room, to make sure he has reach on and to extend that leadership role within them and let them go kind of carry the torch for him. It's something I've definitely learned from him.
Sure, you guys heard the news, local kid, Marshawn, passed away this morning.
I just saw that, man.
You guys had him in for a visit a couple years ago. What do you remember about him? Did you interact with him?
Yeah, absolutely. We had him for a top 30 visit. Special kid, man. That's very unfortunate. I have no idea about the details of anything, but I just remember it was something about that kid, a special kid. I think he had something with his upbringing. I don't want to misspeak, obviously, on something, but I know he had dealt with something coming up through adversity and things like that. But whether you deal with anything or you live a joyous life your whole life, you never want to see a kid, I believe at the age of 24, to pass away. So my condolences with his family, loved ones, and everybody involved.
Shep, this defense has allowed the fewest rushing yards in the NFL since 2023. You guys did get gashed a couple times last week, even if those stats are inflated. Just against this Commanders offense, how much of that is an emphasis this week, getting back to kind of slamming the door against the run?
I won't use the word gash last week, but from the standpoint, yeah, you take the 31-yard flare screen. I don't know where that became a run, but hey, okay, got it. They averaged 3.9 a carry on 28 attempts. So, but moving forward, the standard's the standard. Not just in the run game, I repeat, in totality, we are a physical outfit, and I refuse to ever get ran out of a stadium. That's just point blank, period. And we'll use any resources that we have out there. If we got to go a 10-man box and play with one post safety, those guys in the room, the coaching staff, everybody knows. If there's one thing I believe in, it's the physical identity of our defense, and that starts with the run game and our front seven.
Can I just build on that really quickly? Krasky-Mara, he's off to a really good start. Their rookie back. Does he remind you of anyone? What is he doing well?
He reminds me of Malcolm. I said that the other day. Kind of a late round guy that snuck in the room and nobody really knew about, but I actually have a little background because he's from kind of surrounding areas that Sean Deion Hamilton is from. and I know that player's upbringing now. So it's no surprise to me when I turn on the tape of why he runs hungry, why he went in there and got a player like Brian Robinson traded out of there, like the caliber player that is, to trade him away and have trust in this guy kind of was eye-opening. But then you watch the tape, I have ultimate respect for that player. Ultimate. They have a lot of yak yardage, actually. Him and Debo Samuels is one of the better things they do. You can include Zach Ertz in that as well. It's a lot of quick passing, getting the ball out, but that's when they hurt you, when the ball's in their hands. So ultimate respect, man. Shout out to that kid, a 7th-round pick that went in there and got it out the mud. I always respect guys like that in this league.
Quickly, two games. What's been the effect that Aleem has had on the pass rush that you've seen? I mean, how has he kind of changed?
It's a no-brainer that if you leave your guard one-on-one on Mac, he can create issues. And as far as the interior push, but I don't want to take away from the guys we've already had out there and make it seem like we've just taken a tremendous jump because of one player. How about Muhammad at the 3-tech? How about Tyleek, some critical PBUs out there? How about Roy Lopez coming in here as a nose tackle and showing us that he can edge O-lineman? So, obviously, I love Mac. He's a high-level 3 technique, but I don't want to make it seem like it's just jumped so significant like other guys haven't been contributing to a dynamic rush plan as well.
Can't wait to get on the field. Dan Quinn, this guy does a heck of a job. Knowing him before in the past, when I was in San Francisco, going against him in Seattle a lot, him and Pete Carroll, they've always done a great job. Sound football, they're really detailed, get after the ball, they attack the ball, try to create turnovers. They've always done a great job. Dan's got a lot of respect for him. Looking forward to it. Any questions?
When you've got an offensive line that's ailing a little bit, we'll kind of see how that ends up on Sunday. But what can you do as an offensive coordinator to help maybe protect those guys and just allow them to play at their best ability, knowing they're ailing a little bit? You might have some backups in there.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been doing that all year. I mean, we're always trying to protect our guys and do the right thing. And we'll just continue to do that. But man, if they can play, we're going. We're going to do what we do. That's important. We don't want to be handcuffed.
We know how excited you were about your game plan going into that one. It didn't play out the way I think you probably envisioned. What was the worst part of watching that film back, John?
The protection. That was the biggest thing. I mean, we can draw up all these plays we want. It doesn't matter. That was the biggest thing, winning our one-on-one matchups. That was big. That set us back. Second and long, third and long. We had a lot of third and longs. But when we did things right, we did really well. That was the biggest thing. It's just clogging the middle up, protection. You can't do a lot of stuff with that. And, we all have our hand in that game plan. And, we would do things differently next time.
Asked David about this yesterday, David Shaw.
Yep.
It's not a singular issue. It's one guy here. Every play, it's something a little bit different when there's a breakdown. When you look at that as a coordinator, what is the biggest challenge when there isn't like a single thing to really focus on to fix it? Yeah,
I mean, I told the guys it's all about us and making sure that you really study your opponent, like the guy over next to you. Like if this is the way I've always approached it, what I've always told when I was coaching wideouts or just coaching anybody, man, know the guy over you. The insides and outs, when is he turning up? You got to know everything. And we've been pretty good with that. I really think that. It's just that, man, hey, we're protecting, getting the blitz and everything, and all of a sudden, the back, maybe he did this wrong, or the tackle did this wrong, or the receiver didn't run the right route. That's what's going on. You know what I mean? It's just doing it all together, 11 guys at the same time. I mean, that's where we have to get to. You know what I mean? Because we're not far away. I mean, the score was still kind of close. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. Just honing in on the details, refocus. Okay, do what you're supposed to do. That's the biggest thing. And we got to fix this up front and protecting the quarterback. And we will. We've addressed it and working on it yesterday and today. We have to do it because if you don't address it, they're just going to keep doing what teams are what we've seen on tape. So that's the important thing. Make the corrections and go on and make sure it doesn't happen again. If it does, then, you got to make some changes. So
Maybe this is all about the offensive line too, but you guys, you're averaging 30 points a game. You're second in the league in scoring.
Yeah.
That's what the name of the game is on offense. But maybe it hasn't been as consistent as you'd like in some areas. So what's the just level of concern, if there is any, about the offense, or if that's just
I kind of just said it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's protecting the protection and all of that. That's the biggest thing. Like, I can draw up all these plays we want. If you don't protect and have sound protection so the quarterback can throw the ball, it doesn't matter. So that's the biggest thing. And guys, listen, this is fixable. That's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? This is all fixable, and we've addressed it.
Protection, though, is somewhat related. I mean, the problems related to not being able to establish the run.
It happened. I mean, just their movement up front and everything, it was tough. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we had things for it. We had chances. Again, I'm going back. One guy didn't do that. No, we didn't get it. It could have been big. I mean, you guys watched the game, and when you watch it in detail and everything. Man, if he would have got that. Oh, if we would have done this. That's the biggest thing. We had a good scheme. So that's when you break down. I mean, it takes all 11, especially on offense. It takes all 11 guys. If you don't do it, it could be tough.
John, earlier this year, you took the opportunity to simplify some of the communication on the O-line while you were working with some younger pieces. Do you think that move is helping you now as you work to bring in more depth pieces as well and rotate things around?
Yeah, I think our communication has been really good. Ever since the Green Bay game, it's been really good. It's just a matter of some guys getting beat. That's all it is, man. I'm just telling you, it's when you look at it over and over and over, it's one or two guys that are just breaking down. And we got young guys, and they're still learning. And really, they shouldn't be, because man, we're halfway through the season. I mean, everybody's a vet, and we've addressed it.
Is it you feel like it's strictly physical with the protection, John? Or, I know Frank Ragnall's not walking through the door, but that was always his thing, right? Was the ID element of it?
No, the IDs have been good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, guys are breaking down, and it's one or two guys when you watch it. And we've got to collectively get it right.
If it's one or two guys, is it as easy as making a position change or making a personnel change then? Could that be a...
I don't think that. I don't think that, because the guys have been doing a really good job. I mean, that's the head coach's. He's the one that makes that decision. But if a certain guy is making the same mistake over and over, then it has to be addressed with anything. We're in the performance business here, so.
You're not saying it's that where one guy's making the same mistakes. It's just one or two guys per play that when the breakdown happens.
Yeah, when you look at it. And so we're addressing it.
What makes Sam such a valuable weapon for an offensive coordinator?
Say that again?
What makes Sam Laporta so valuable of a weapon? I see smile, so just curious, what is it about his skill set or just his ability that
I just think he's one of those tight ends. He's real savvy, and boy, is he really good after the catch. Man, is he really good. I don't know, something with those Iowa tight ends, man. They're always pretty good after the catch. But I think in his hands and his ability, his athleticism to get open as a tight end, that's big. You got certain tight ends. You got the bigger type of guys like the Gronks and bully you. I mean, this guy's like a wide receiver playing tight end. He's really athletic, catches the ball, and he's really good. I'd be shocked. He might be one of the best tight ends after the catch. Kittle and those guys. That's a plus now, because we can catch it underneath and he can go get the first. I mean, you saw what he did when that first touchdown. I was getting ready to call another play, and all of a sudden, he scored. You know what I mean? So that's why I smile. It's pretty impressive, the things that he does. He's a special player.
John, the ground game has hit some big plays, but maybe not quite as efficient as you guys would like play in, play out. I think I might know your answer here, but just what's the key to running the ball more consistently up front?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already said it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like with the passing game or anything. It's just about being consistent. You know, we've narrowed things down where, you know, you don't have so many runs or so many passes, so the guys know what to do with all the different type of looks. I think that's important. And we've been doing that. Listen, we've been doing that. And, you know, that type of defense, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden you get one. You know what I mean? But you get behind the 8 ball, then your play calling kind of changes. You know what I mean? So a lot of second and longs and third and long, it's hard, you know, so.
John, I'm just wondering, Dan said he wants to get Isaac Tesla a little bit more on the field.
Yeah.
Where's he at in his development, and why hasn't he been used just a little bit more up until this point?
Yeah, I think, listen, he's been doing a great job. He's playing special teams. He does a really good job on special teams. We're going to get him involved more, and that helps with the other guys, so they're not always playing, 65, 70 plays. But we're real happy where he's at. Leaf, all these guys have different skill set, and they're all going to play. So I think that's important, and we're going to get him more involved. It's just, sometimes when he's in, does the read take him there? That's just what happens. So.
Looks like you guys were going to avoid having to play Frankie Louvu, but had his suspension overturned. What kind of player is he? What do you have to look out for when he's on the field?
Yeah, I think he's a solid player, man. He plays on the edge. He's in the box, out playing backer. Really good blitzer. That's his biggest thing. He really brings it, and we have to be ready for his athleticism, what he brings. I remember going against him a couple years ago. He's just a solid player, really solid. But biggest thing is him, how he blitzes, how he comes off the edge. Really physical player.
Play action is a big part of your game. I mean,
say that again?
Play action is obviously a big part of your game. I mean, have you been able to get to it as much as you would like, I guess?
Yeah, we tried.
I know, but I mean, it's what like over the last few games. I mean, have you? You've got.
I mean, there's when you look at our game plan, there's more play action than there is drop back lots of times. Because that's what this team is built on: running the ball, play action, movement game. Not as much not as much drop back. Unless we have to. I mean, we have it, but that's kind of the things we do that we've always done here.